Sound check, sound check, sound check. 1, 2, 3, sound check.
Wow, that was a fast minute, Elsie Bates. Good. All right. Good morning, everyone. Officially, this is our City Housing Hamilton shareholder meeting of March 27, 2023. Members of the public are advised that our meetings are webcast live by the city, temporarily archived on our website, and the presentations and reports considered at this meeting are available on the city's website. Members of the public can contact the clerk's office to acquire documents in an alternative format if they so choose. Other individuals and the media may also be audibly and/or visually recording our meeting. All electronic devices are to be switched to non-audible function during the meeting. Repeat, all electronic devices are to be switched to non-audible, please, function during the meeting. Members are reminded of your 5-minute time limit, which of course will only be for your speaking time, which will be adhered to during the meeting. Members can submit another request to speak if they require more time to ask questions or make comments. City Clerk, Legislative Coordinator Tamara Bates has joined us today, along with Assistant Alea Whalen. And Tamara, is quorum present, please?
Yes, Mr. Deputy Mayor, we have quorum.
And let's continue on. Are there any changes to our agenda?
No, Mr. Deputy Mayor, there are no changes to the agenda.
Okay, is there any discussion on this? Otherwise, can I have a mover and seconder, please, to get the agenda on the floor? Moved by Councillor Huang, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Kretsch. Questions, comments? All right, all in favor, any opposed? E-vote, please. And we have members of council that have joined us virtually along with those present in the chamber.
Apologies, Mr. Deputy Mayor. As Councillor Huang was not on the shareholder last time, we do need a mover that was a member of the shareholder last meeting.
Well, I didn't see that qualifier on my roadmap, LC.
Well, as we are already.
That's no problem at all.
We'll take that up later.
How about Councillor Clark and Councillor Danko? I believe they definitely were here last time. Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? E-vote, please. Thank you, LC Bates. Good reminder for me.
Councillors Danko, Jackson and Wilson.
Yep, nothing's coming up for me.
And Kassar, nothing. In favor, Councillor Jackson, Councillor Kassar, Councillor Danko, I see Councillor Francis, and Councillor Wilson. Thank you all.
And the vote carries 9-0. Wonderful. Declarations of interest, any at all, members of the shareholders meeting? I see no hands going up, so there's no disqualifying interest noted, no non-disqualifying interest noted. Let's move on. Approval of the minutes, item 4 from August 15th of last year. LC Bates, let me ask ahead of time, can anyone move that? Or should we have someone again who was here last year?
You know what, Deputy Mayor Jackson, I erred that first time. We could have had anyone move to approve the agenda. It was indeed the minutes I was thinking about that we do need a member. So we're going to revert back to the original mover and seconder for the vote on the agenda with Councillor Huang and Councillor Kretsch. And now this time you do need someone who was there to move it.
Councillor Clark and Councillor Danko, I know are happy to put their moving and seconding on the minutes instead. We're all clear, everyone. Thank you, LC Bates. We are learning as we're going along together. Wonderful. Any questions or comments on the minutes? All in favor, any opposed? E-vote, please.
Councillor Wilson is thumbs up. Councillor Jackson, thumbs up.
Not coming up for me yet.
Oh, and that's everyone. Thank you.
Okay, and that is, let's see, carried 9-0 again. Shareholders resolution 11.1. You have a mover and seconder to get this. So I should go through LC Bates. There's no communications, no delegation requests. I'm looking at my e-scribe agenda. No consent items, no public hearing delegations, no staff presentations, no discussion items. So we could go right to the motion 11.1, but I do want an overview from the CEO.
That's
Can we
correct.
do that at that time?
That's correct, yes.
Perfect. Okay. Mover and seconder, please, to get the shareholders' resolutions on the floor. Moved by Councillor Huang. Thank you. Councillor Paul, seconding. Thank you. All right. CEO Adam Sweetland, our new CEO. Welcome back to Hamilton, Adam. And please, how about giving us a nice overview? And would you introduce the staff who's with you that many members of council who don't serve on the City Housing Hamilton Board may not be familiar with? Adam, the floor is yours.
Certainly. Good morning through you, Deputy Mayor Adam Sweetland, Chief Executive Officer, City Housing Hamilton. I'm joined today by Rochelle D'Souza, our Chief Financial Officer, and Sean Botham, who is our Manager of Development. And behind me, I have Samantha Blakely, who's a Development Coordinator on Sean's team, and Teresa Hirchuk, the Administrative Assistant, whom many of you will already know. This morning you have before you a resolution for two items. The first being in response to a motion which was passed by the Board of Directors at its February 9th meeting earlier this year, and is requesting financial assistance to aid in the turnover of about approximately 476 units of vacant housing. And that has to an upset limit of $5.7 million. The second item that is before you as part of this resolution relates to the debt financing arrangement to complete the project, which is our newest build at 8 Roxanne Drive in East Hamilton, which was completed in the last, received substantial completion in December. That's correct. And it was part of a larger Roxborough Park development.
Is that the end of your overview? Okay. All right, then let's go to any questions or comments from the shareholders. Councillor Clark, let's start with you, please.
Do we have city staff here too?
Director McMullen is here from Finance, if that helps.
Yes, it does. So the first question, Deputy Mayor, would be the $5.7 million. Is that allocated in this year's budget, 2023?
Director?
So through the Deputy Mayor, at the Emergency and Community Services Committee meeting last week, this was one of the items that was on the report and presentation by Director Michelle Baird on the ending chronic homelessness. So the $5.7 million is a new item that is not in the 2023 budget. This particular item is being referred to the General Manager of Healthy and Safe Communities for a report back. So we'll be looking at sources of funding for that $5.7 million over appears to be 12 to 18 months.
Okay, and the credit agreement, is that City Housing Hamilton owing the $19.3 million to the city or to a separate financial corporation, and who actually is the borrower?
So yeah, I can address that one again. So sorry, Brian McMullen, Director of Financial Planning, Administration and Policy in the Corporate Services Department. So this particular request, we've been working with City Housing Hamilton for a number of years on this project related to the particular financing that might be available. The report went to the board, and we had discussions about the financing that would be required for the long-term debt. The original amount was in about the $20 million range. Upon completion of the project, the amount is now closer to the $19.4 million. The report that's attached as Appendix A indicates the sources of financing of that report. They were able to get some additional funding that wasn't anticipated when the project was first initiated. And likewise, this report is then coming back to staff, and we've written a report that is going to the April 20th Emergency and Community Services Committee, where the city is providing the loan to CHH.
Okay. So where the City of Hamilton is loaning $19.3 million to the City Housing Hamilton, and what does that do to our debt ceiling?
So through the chair. So as this is our City of Hamilton debt, when we look at our consolidated debt on City of Hamilton and City of Hamilton municipal purposes, and we include housing, City Housing Hamilton Corporation, our debt limits are fine within what Standard & Poor's reports and what our limit is within the Ontario regulations.
And so does it meet with because the City of Hamilton has a debt policy also. So does this debt amount mesh with the limits provided in that debt policy?
So through the chair, yes.
Okay, thank you. So I guess the only question is, how are we handling the 5.7 million of the city? Because it's not in the budget.
I have an update.
Oh, Chair, good morning, Councillor Nan. Didn't acknowledge you earlier. And as chair of our board, welcome. Please,
Sorry.
through the chair, what can you help us with?
My apologies. I didn't realize my mic was unmuted. So 3 years into the pandemic and my mic was live. I apologize. In terms of the question that Councillor Clark is asking, there is a motion coming in April. General Manager Zagaric and several other staff members, including General Manager Burden, as well as Director Baird. We've been working on a formula for the last 4 months in terms of figuring out a funding source for those units. And there will be a motion coming in April to itemize options, and none of it would have tax levy impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Nan. Councillor Clark, back to you. You saw the floor.
That is a gigantic relief, Councillor Nan. Thank you so much. Okay, those are all my questions. I'm happy.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Appreciate it. Next on the speakers list. Oh, and I want to acknowledge Councillor McMeekin. Good morning. Not at all. Councillor, not at all. Councillor Pauls, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to ask the 476 vacant houses that we have, that's throughout the whole city. Am I correct?
CEO?
Yes, through you, Deputy Mayor, that is correct.
And can you, because I'm not in the committee, housing, so I'm not aware of how many years, what range of years of these 476 vacant homes have been empty? Is there a stat, how long they've been empty?
CEO, please.
So through the Deputy Mayor, it would vary, it would depend, but I would say that they would range from 6 months to 3 years.
6 months to 3 years they've been sitting empty. So it's something we have to make sure we ratify it and make sure they're out there to be rented, of course. And the last question I have, the $5.7 million, that covers all the 476? Or is there?
CEO?
Through
the Deputy Mayor, yes, that is correct. It is anticipated to be the amount required to cover the 476.
And actually, just for another question, and how long would it take? Once in April, we talk about it, we pass it. How long do you think it takes before these 476 vacant homes?
Through the Deputy Mayor.
Do you have a time limit?
So through the Deputy Mayor, we are, in concert to this, we are developing a vacancy management plan, and part of that will be a commitment to return these units by the end of 2024.
Oh, that's good news. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Pauls. Appreciate the questions. Councillor Kassar, please.
Thank you, and through you, Deputy Mayor. Just a couple questions, please, about the development at 8 Roxanne Avenue. Just confirming location, is this the development south of Roxborough Park along Air Avenue? Yes?
Let's get an official confirmation.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, I'm going to let Sean Botham respond.
Manager Botham, please introduce yourself.
Through the chair, Sean Botham, Manager of Development at City Housing. So the former address for the site was 41 Reed South.
Right. Okay, thank you. That clarifies it. Just wanted to be sure. And then as a follow-up, how many units are in the development, please, through you, Deputy Mayor?
Manager?
Through the chair, 103 units are in the City Housing building. The greater development has over 1,000.
Oh, wow, okay. And then just one question about the financing. The recommendation here is $400,000 from the city for 35 years to help with debt financing. And then we also just heard that the city is loaning $19 million. So I'm just trying to understand the relationship between paying for the debt financing and the fact that the city of Hamilton will be providing the loan. Could you
Good question. Either manager or Director McMullen. Manager?
Yeah, I can start for sure. So through the chair, when this development was contemplated based on the estimated value of this land, in order to make the pro forma work, we essentially needed the city to participate. So alongside the tax increase to the lands that was made available by the city housing lands, there was additional funding for the city, and through those additional revenues, a portion of it was allocated to assist in covering the debt that was required on the city housing project. So to make this financially feasible for us, for city housing to free up these lands for a spectrum of affordable and market development, we did need the city to participate to cover that debt. So that's on the one side. On the other side, we can go to the private market or federal partners for funding in terms of loans, but the city actually has very favorable funding terms, and we've engaged with the city before for those. So they are two components that work together to make this project financially feasible.
Councillor, you still have the floor.
Okay, that helps. And just wanted to dig a little deeper into my question about what the 400,000 is paying for. So I understand the context was provided, just what is the, maybe Director Mullen can help with that answer through you, Deputy Mayor.
CFO D'Souza or Director McMullen, and Rochelle, if it's you, please introduce yourself.
Through the Chair, Rochelle D'Souza, Chief Financial Officer of City Housing Hamilton. So there are two components in the city. One is as service manager and one is as shareholder. The service manager would provide the operating subsidy, and that's where the 400,000 comes in as operating subsidy.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay, that was my misunderstanding. Deputy Mayor, I thought it said it's for servicing the debt. So maybe I misread that. I'll go back and double check. Thank you very much.
Thank you for helping to clarify that, Councillor. Thank you. Next on our speakers list, or our questioning list, Councillor Cretch, please.
I had a comment. If anybody else had questions, I can wait.
Sure, that's fine. Yep, combination's fine.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to highlight, there was a report recently on an agenda somewhere. I'm not making this information up, is my point. That it's about between $500,000 and $600,000 to build a new unit. To acquire units, i.e. to purchase a building, an existing building that's up for sale and purchase those units, on average between $150,000 and $250,000 to acquire units that way. This way that we're doing it, I just want to do the math for people, $11,974 per unit on average. So if you just take the 5.7 million divided by 476, it's around $12,000 a unit. Just wanting to highlight like how dramatically low we're able to put these units back on the market for, like the value we're getting here in terms of the way that spectrum works. That's it, thanks.
Excellent point. Thank you, Councillor, much appreciated. Any other questions or comments, please, from members of the shareholders? Seeing none. Oh, Councillor Cassar, a second time, please.
Just wanted to follow up, if I could, Deputy Mayor, and know what Councillor Cretch was saying. Went through those numbers really quickly. Would you mind just repeating them? My brain was not fast enough to capture.
Sure.
Thank you.
Through the chair, please.
No problem. So to build a new unit of affordable housing, estimates are between $500,000 and $600,000 a unit. If we want to acquire a building, a whole building that already existed, an older stock building, estimates for each one of those are about between $150,000 and $250,000 a unit. To do this, $5.7 million for 476 units is $11,974 a unit, so around $12,000 a unit. So you can see how much more cost effective it is for us to replace the units we have right now that we have to bring back onto the market than it is for us to build or to even acquire a building.
Thanks for restating that, Councillor Cretch. Councillor Cassar?
Perfect, thank you.
Are good? Wonderful. No other speakers on the list. We have a mover and seconder, correct, Elsie Bates, for the shareholders' resolution?
Yes, we do. We have
Wonderful.
a mover and a
Please
seconder
vote.
in Councillor Huang and Councillor Pauls.
Perfect. E-vote, please. Physical thumb accepted. Okay. Elsie Bates. Fortunately, my e-vote's not coming up. And that carries 11-0.
12-0 because we don't have
So did he vote then? Yes, he did. Okay, so it's actually a 12-0 vote for the official record. Wonderful. And before we adjourn, just for public consumption again, the 16 of us are shareholders of City Housing Hamilton on behalf of the approximate 570,000 citizens of our city. Anything else, members of the shareholders meeting? If not, I'll have a mover to adjourn. Councillor Francis and Councillor Beattie. Move and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? Any opposed? E-vote, please. Thumb up from me, Elsie Bates.
Councillor Nan, sorry, were you thumbs up? Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
And that carried 12-0. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. And we are in excellent hands with CEO Swedlund and the management team of City Housing Hamilton. Thank you, everyone.